I remember feeling shocked, in disbelief. My world stopped for a moment. I felt guilty. I felt ashamed. I was questioning myself more than ever. What have I done? I got to the traffic light and I was just having a conversation out loud, crying. My makeup was like running down my face. Why? Why does this keep happening? And then a light bulb went off. I had an epiphany.
Imagine investing $5,000 into a dream as a young mom and then making just $35 that week. That moment could have ended the story. Instead, it began the evolution. So, welcome to Life and Biz Unfiltered, where we unpack the identity behind success because businesses don't scale until people do. And today we're joined by Maya, who's not only a salon owner, a leader, a speaker, but more importantly, a woman who rebuilt herself through risk, through grief, and through growth. Maya, take us back to that week. What did that $35 feel like in your body?
Shock. I remember feeling shocked, in disbelief. My world stopped for a moment. I felt guilty. I felt ashamed. I was questioning myself more than ever. What have I done? Am I going to be able to carry on? Or should I just shut shop and go home? What am I going to do? I only had two options, either to keep going or give up on my dreams.
That's insane. Maya, can you give us a little bit of background as to what exactly happened and how did it all come to that?
Okay, so when I first opened up my business, I was a great hairdresser. That's what I knew. I knew how to build a clientele, and I was going in with that momentum. I knew how to build a clientele, great relationships, really good communication, great skills. However, I didn't know anything about business, no marketing,
Mm,
no capital. And that was my downfall. I didn't think bigger back then. I started off with
yeah,
6 chairs and I thought, this is it.
yeah.
I had a vision that I was going to be something bigger, but the belief wasn't really there. I didn't know how to get there.
Mm,
And so I
mm,
started with 8 clients and I just believed that my 8 clients were going to refer people. I wasn't even on social media back then. Okay. Uh, I didn't even know how social media worked. This was back in
yes,
2016. So I
yes.
had my 8 clients, and I just believed that I was so good that I was going to be able to grow the clientele through referrals and, things like that. Until one of my product reps,
Mm, mm,
she's like, Maya, are you on Facebook? Are you doing ads on Facebook?
mm,
I said, oh, no. So I started boosting some posts and just playing around with it.
yeah.
I got a bit of traction,
Mm.
but a few months in, that whole week I made $35 and it was for a
Wow.
blow wave. Thank you, Kathy. That was her name, my weekly blow wave.
Oh, thank you,
And
Kathy.
thank you, Kathy. And that after that $35 week, I'm like, these boosted ads are not they're not doing
Mm,
well. I'm going to
mm,
need some help. So I called in some help and I got in touch with some coaches.
mm,
One coach actually said to me, Maya, you're not making enough to even invest in me. I cannot do it. I can't
mm.
take your money if I know it's not even there.
Yeah.
I'm going to refer you on to my friend, who's an
Mm,
amazing marketing coach, and she helped me run ads in the background. And that's how
mm.
I got out of the $35 week, and that $35 week never came back. It never happened
Oh,
again.
wow. Wow. What you just shared, Maya, is what most of the business owners come start their business with, right? The big
Mm,
vision and a
yes.
beautiful rosy dream to
Yes.
actually, make it big, make the $1 million dream.
Mm,
And when the reality strikes about not being the technician, not knowing your craft, but to be the business owner who looks into marketing, sales, and all the aspects, it's quite a shaking moment because it's
yes.
like, oh my God, I have to do all of this.
Yes, we don't realize all the hats that we had to wear. And I'm
Yes,
telling
yes.
you, those quiet moments as well, where I was sitting in the salon, not knowing what to do, I was
Mm.
reading books.
So
And
wonderful.
yes, and I remember reading The E-Myth, and that blew my mind.
Absolutely. I love that. We highly recommend that to all our clients because
Yes,
becoming the entrepreneur is a lot more, and reading that book just boom opens your
yes.
eyes.
Because you can be a hairdresser, but
Mm,
being, a leader and a CEO and an owner are two different things.
very different.
Love it.
Yes.
And you were also a mom. You had responsibility. So what did betting on yourself feel like at that stage?
It was pressure. It felt like pressure. It felt like responsibility. And there's something beautiful about doing something new is that you can't fear what's to come because you've never been there before. Like you have a little fear,
Yeah.
but you go all in,
Mm,
like you just throw caution to the wind, you just go all in. I was like, I'm going to figure it out. Having my child, yeah, there was responsibility and there was that added pressure. But thank God my husband was on the other end and he kind of helped me through. And thank God I grew from there. Yes. That $35 a week only came around once.
And I want to really highlight that having that right people around you plays a big role in how
Mm,
far you will grow,
mm,
right? Having that right support and who will really maybe not even understand the vision, but say that I've got you.
absolutely. It was really good to have him in my corner and to say, one day you're going to be so busy, you're not going to know yourself. That was really good just to have a little cheerleader in the
That's
background.
beautiful.
Yes.
Mm.
And within a year, you had a team. So you were taking holidays. So something changed internally. What was that, Maya?
I had to be really honest with myself. There's also beauty in those rock bottoms. They hit so hard. Okay. And it's it's a bit traumatic, but it gets you to see with yourself, get really honest. What do you want? If you want
Mm.
to get better, you're going to have to be better. You're obviously going to need some help. I obviously needed some help. What I was doing was not going to get me to where I wanted to be.
Yes.
Yes. And knowing that I needed help and being really honest with myself and really clear on what I wanted,
Mm.
that helped. That got me to move.
I love what you said that you needed to step up, you need to be bigger. But when did you stop being a hairdresser and realize that, now I'm a leader and I wanted to do this? And you bought a bigger salon, 16 chairs, 18 team members. That's a whole different game. So what happened when you did this, when you moved ahead and changed everything, including your prices?
It was a big jump. I started envisioning exactly the type of leader I wanted to be. Every day, every night, that's all I saw. I knew exactly how I wanted to lead, how I wanted my lifestyle, the kind of boss I wanted to be. But also reading the E-Myth and having my business coach made me believe that it's possible. And knowing that it's possible knows that, hey, other people are doing it. Why can't I? So I knew that I could become it and I knew I could do it. As long as I just, kept my eye on the prize, stay focused, I knew I'd be able to get myself there. And it's that inner trust, that unshakable trust that you're going to get there, that I think in the end got me there. Also with the help. I couldn't do it without help.
So standing in front of the team, what did that leadership demand from you?
First of all, to really step into my leadership role solidly, I had to look within myself, really look at the team because my team and my business was a reflection of me. It was a reflection of my beliefs. It was a reflection of everything. So you're really staring at a mirror.
Mm.
And when I stared into the mirror, I was like, am I happy with what I'm seeing? Yes, yes. If not, okay, what part of this is a reflection of me? What is this internally, like existing inside of me that needs to change so I can change the way I see my business and my team so I can stand up and become that leader, that strong, like lead with my authority. And then I got really clear on my values. Okay.
Mm.
When I got really clear on my values, everything shifted as well. Because then my conversations were really different. I was clearer. I was very direct. I was precise. I was standing my ground. And the team were on board. Not all of them. Some actually left. They didn't like this new version, right? But a lot of them stayed and they love this new version because they love a leader that trusts herself and knows where she's going. Like, I love those leaders.
So I'll probably have to take a little bit of a rewind from there because
Mm.
you said that they now trust you and some of them had to leave. So before that, prior to that, were you leading from vision? Were you leading from values, or would you say from needing to be liked?
Both, both. But I think as I grew, I had to really refine my beliefs, my values, and my vision, really get crystal clear. Whereas before, I probably didn't. And, I was moving through a lot of upgrades. I was also juggling a family, lockdowns. And so there was lots that was happening
Mm.
that I had to work through. And every step of the way, I had to reevaluate who I was, and go back to, are these my core values? Is it aligned with what I believe? And at the start, yes, there was people pleasing, absolutely. And that people pleasing and try and make everyone happy and like me, because I thought that's what bosses and leaders do, you have to be liked
Love it.
in order to keep your team together. Because I was doing that, it distorts reality a little bit. You don't know what's true and you don't know what's false,
Mm.
because you're not acting true to who you are. So once I really refined those three things, that's when I really started to step into my leadership.
That's really, really good. Now, I would love to throw a little bit of light because we business coaches, business consultants, and I would love to understand from the business side of it, how
Mm,
did that impact from the 6 chairs to, I think you went to 14 or more chairs, right?
mm.
So, how did you shift the business model as a result of really stepping up into your leadership? What was the changes you made? What was the impact on it? And how did you move from the technician to the entrepreneurial space to make the shifts?
I had to think differently. I couldn't think like a stylist anymore.
Beautiful.
Yes, and there was a moment where when I did in my upgrade where I had 18 team members,
Mm-hmm.
where I reverted back to being a stylist because we were so busy, I had to be on the floor and I was doing the work. And you know what was happening? There was so much stuff going on behind the scenes while I was like focusing on clients, having the conversations, doing their hair, and you know, they were doing their own thing because I couldn't watch them and I couldn't manage at the same time,
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
because I was just focusing on
Yeah.
my client. My focus was there and not elsewhere. So that was really, I was like, no, in a team this big, I cannot be the hairdresser and the leader. Also, that's not who I wanted to be. So my
Right.
my thinking had to change and I really had to see, what am I overlooking at the moment? What am I not seeing? Because
Hmm,
with
hmm.
me on the floor, I'm just on the floor. I can't see what's happening,
Yeah.
in the kitchen, in the color room, in the office, anywhere.
Hmm.
So for me to actually step out and have a bird's eye view and a different perspective of my business, I had to change the way I was thinking and I had to stop thinking like a hairdresser and start thinking like a CEO and start behaving like her as well.
Love it. Love it. So this is a critical point, right? Where most of the business owners are stuck in that action because they think they do the best what they do.
Yes.
And
Yes.
stepping out is a huge milestone, right?
Mm, mm,
From not being there and able to control the outcome to actually saying that I will watch it from far and have my team members do it. That's a huge milestone to achieve in the business.
mm, mm.
Now, what was the defining moment that led you to actually be okay with it? Because it's a huge thing for a business owner to do that. So how did you do that? If there are audience here who are listening to you who are stuck in that being technicians and doing the operations on a day-to-day basis,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
wanting to be the business owner, be the entrepreneur who can, like dream big and really action big as well. Because there's one thing to dream big, but there's the
Hmm.
next thing to actually action in alignment
Yep.
to get there.
I believe to allow good things to happen, you have to make space
Hmm.
first. I did have to let go of something, and that was hairdressing. I had to let go of being a hairdresser to become a bigger, better version of myself.
Hmm.
Now, we get stuck in the doing, doing, doing because we think we're the only ones that we can do it. We can't trust our team. We're the only ones that can do it. So I'll do. But at some point, you have to question, why did you hire the team and why don't I trust them? Because ultimately, it's a reflection of yourself. If you do not trust yourself, you cannot lead your team and you can't trust your team. That was a pivotal moment as well. And when I started not doing everything myself, I could focus on the bigger things.
Yeah.
And my time, I audited my time as well because I had all this time now to look after my team and lead them and really create a team, you know, and even train one of my girls to become the team leader. So she's
Oh,
now the
wow.
bridge between me and my team.
Mm.
And it's a great opportunity for them.
Love that, Maya. What I'm hearing is the process, right? Where you're becoming very sure about your values and then
Yes,
hiring the team that aligns with that values. Because in the absence of that, you can never lead and create that impact that you are creating right now. So really hiring based off your values and then moving forward and then moving you out of that position of the hairdresser and letting the team lead. So
absolutely.
I love how you described how the actual transition that happened, and that's the journey we all need to take to become the business owners.
We do. And do you know what? It's actually so hard. And people think it might look easy, but I've had people ask me, how did you do it? You grieve that person you once were. I grieved that hairdresser. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And you do question yourself. And there are times where you will be tested and the hairdresser wants to pull you back into that role. And you've got to be like, no, I have to operate from here.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And all of these being a mom, I think that's next level.
Yes.
I think
Uh,
even like talking about grief because you built something strong.
mm,
And normally everyone usually talks about, I've had this and I've achieved that, and it's always the ups. And I remember in the conversation that we had previously, also you said there's a lot more downs than ups, but I love your attitude and I love how you see it. But then life hit you too,
mm.
yeah, and you experienced stillbirth. How did that season change you?
There were many layers. So I lost my daughter just short of 34 weeks, so a few hours before I hit the 34-week mark. It really shaped me into who I am now. First, you go through, your grieving and your mourning process. You question everything. And of course, sometimes you question yourself, should I give up? Who am I? And as a woman, you feel a bit unworthy. Am I doing the right thing? Have I done the wrong thing? Who am I now? Because the woman walking into the hospital is not the same woman that's walking out. The woman that walked out of her business 1 week ago is not the one that's walking in now, and it changes you and it cracks you open, like it removes your masks, all the distortion.
Did you feel supported through it, or were you more alone?
No, I was alone. I did feel alone. I didn't feel supported.
Mm.
I actually found myself when I walked back into my business, I found myself having to make sure my clients were okay with it and my team was okay with it.
Wow.
Mm.
That's that sounds really challenging, Maya. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. And It's the time when, you are dealing with something, but you know that you have to be there for others, your team, your clients. And
Mm,
there is that conflict, the deep conflict within. And wow, thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate you for sharing that.
you're welcome.
I think what's also stayed with me with in the previous conversation, you said something powerful that women wear their trauma like a label.
Yes.
Why did you refuse that identity?
There was too much at stake. I had a vision and I could see it clearly. I knew that it was happening for me, not against me. I just knew. And I knew it was a part of my story and I knew it was going to make me stronger and get me to where I wanted to go. Because with that breakdown was a massive breakthrough, you know. I think I just kept holding on to the vision. It didn't define me. When I walked out of the hospital, when you walk out of something like that, you feel like you've got a label on your head that says, mother of a stillborn. You wear it around and it's like baggage. Like you feel like that's just who you are now, and you carry it around.
Mhm.
And I had to keep reminding myself that this is something that happened. It was a big thing
Mhm.
that happened, but it doesn't define who I am. It makes me who I am. It
Love
adds
that.
to who I am.
Yeah. And that's such an important aspect of our lives that we need to understand, right? Not creating identity out of what is happening to us, but really knowing that it's making us stronger, it's building the resilience, and it helping us to become and evolve into the person we want to be.
Mm,
And not making is that identity that I am this.
yeah.
So that's really powerful that what you've shared.
Thank you. I mean, that's also kind of sheds light on how to move through grief without letting us define it. And I love how you're looking at it. Like for anybody to have that happen to them so well and truly into pregnancy, I cannot even imagine. So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That's a beautiful positive impact that you've had on yourself by having the attitude, the way that you're looking through things, the lens in which you see stuff. It's just wonderful. And then now that we're talking about transitioning, obviously you've outgrown the salon.
Mm,
You started speaking, you've launched your podcast. So what pulled you towards all of that?
okay. It was the one defining moment, one of many, but this was a big one. I woke up one morning and I was riddled with anxiety and stress. And I dropped off my children, grabbed my coffee, and I was on my way to work. And I remember I was just so sad that day. I so many emotions. I was stressed, I was anxious, I was upset, and I stopped at a traffic light and I'm like, why? Why are things so hard? I was in a bit of debt. I was still, I still had the stillbirth and all that. And we went through lockdowns and I had my kids to look after. My husband was having surgeries. And, you're juggling. As a woman, you're juggling, right? And I got to the traffic light and I was just having a conversation out loud, crying. My makeup was like running down my face. Why? Why does this keep happening? And then a light bulb went off. I had an epiphany. Everything that I've been through, I'm meant to speak about. It's meant to empower. It's not meant to do the reverse. It's not here. I'm not a victim, and it went off like a light bulb. Like these are things that I have experienced that other women are experiencing and can relate to that I can hold space for. And, I can coach them through or guide them through. And I was at an event and I saw this speaker and it just went off like a light bulb as well. I'm like, oh, is that what I'm meant to be doing? Because something, your energy shifts in your body. It's like a calling, it's like a pull towards something, right? And this speaking event actually happened before the driving, the talking out loud at the traffic light. And I just couldn't connect. I was like, what am I meant to be speaking about? And then when I was at the traffic light, I was like, oh, okay. And it just made sense. So everything I've gone through was to lead me to this point, you know? And that's how I became a coach and a speaker. And that's what led me into this industry.
That's so wonderful. So now that you've had the epiphany and it's just a wonderful moment of a eureka moment of sorts. So
Mm.
would you say entrepreneurship is a business journey, or would you say it's more a spiritual one?
I would definitely say when you decide to become an entrepreneur, what you're really signing up for is the journey to self-discovery. If you really want to get to know yourself, you become an
Love that.
entrepreneur. Yeah.
I love that. Totally resonate with that.
Mm.
And that's why even we work with business owners because I believe business owners are, we believe business owners are really ready to take that feedback and take the leap,
Mm.
right? They have gone past the mode of being a victim and now they're ready to take up, to move themselves forward, and that will move their business forward. So what you shared is just powerful. Absolutely.
Now that you've scaled your businesses, you've built teams, you've built a personal brand, no one scales alone. So, what kind of support did you really invest in along the way?
This is something I wish someone told me earlier, but I'm glad it didn't take me too long to understand. But always surround yourself with the people that you admire, that tad bit ahead of you, because they have walked the path that you have walked. They've walked the path that I've walked. So every time I wanted to up level, my secret weapon was to find someone that was slightly ahead of me that I could
Mm.
invest in to get me there quicker. I don't want to waste time anymore. And I found that was the quickest way to get me to where I
Mm.
wanted to be. I got into rooms with people, like-minded people, and I know we hear this over and over again, and I can't stress how crucial it is that we
Mm.
do surround ourselves with like-minded people. Always invest in the right coaches and the right people. And I always look at their background to see whether they are authentic and genuine and whether they've walked something similar to my path. But yeah, I think that was really what helped me scale and get to the next level each time.
Love it. You're the average of the five people you surround yourself with. That was a quote that changed my life. So you're talking my language.
Yeah. Yes.
When you invested in branding and marketing or coaching, what changed you internally, Maya? Like, did clarity reduce the overwhelm, or would you say structure? What increased confidence?
Everything. Because when you put something to action, something shifts inside of you. It builds momentum. It tells you that you can trust yourself to make decisions to move forward. So, yes, I got clearer. I got stronger. It built my momentum and it helped me keep moving forward because I trusted myself. I trusted that I could find the way each way. And then you see the results, right? You see the external. It all comes after that initial movement, that internal movement.
That is so awesome. So there is light always at the end of the tunnel. You just have to keep going and keep building.
I believe so. I believe so.
What would you say is the cost of trying to do everything alone?
Everything. It
Mm.
can cost you everything. I was in a place where I was in debt, wasn't asking for help. I didn't think I could voice it. Where my team was running amok, not running amok like they were just a little bit messy, not as tight as I want them to be, right? And when you're on that path, it could go two ways. It can get better or it can get worse. And the cost is that you keep doing things alone. It costs you your mental health, financial stability, because what you're not seeing is everything else that's happening. You're doing everything
Mm,
alone, carrying everything alone, that you are causing stress, anxiety, your health takes a beating. It costs you time with your kids, it costs you your life. You're not actually living. You are
mm,
surviving.
Wow, that is so huge. I think time and time again, you're talking to us about the same thing, like have those right people that you surround yourselves with, otherwise it'll cost you everything, quite literally.
Yes.
You have a daughter who's constantly watching you. What do you want her to see, Maya?
I want her to see that everything is achievable, that if you believe it, you can become it, and that there's nothing stopping you. No, it's not our culture, it's not our spouses, it's not money, it's nothing is stopping you. There's always a solution and there's always a path forward. And I hope that by me stepping into this self-led kind of lifestyle, that my daughter can see what I've embodied and then she can just take it on because she'll see it as normal. She'll
mm.
normalize all this. She won't think that it's hard. She'll think that it's easy and it's normal. If mum's doing it, I can do it because we're their role model, right? They're always watching us.
He has a bloody freaking brilliant role model for sure. And and your son, what would you want him to learn about women in leadership?
There's so much because it's amazing watching a young man grow, honestly. It's really surreal. I want him to know that it's okay to have a partner or a female in leadership and that knows her worth and knows her values and that he is also secure in his masculinity as well, to see a woman grow and in her power because that does challenge men at times. And I feel like if he sees me like that, he will believe that it's okay and he will understand how to navigate,
Mm.
relationships and really stand in his power as well.
That is so bold. I mean, I can probably relate to it in a slight way because of my two boys and constantly teaching them and doing that in action as well. It's so
Mm,
important for them to notice and understand and then,
mm,
be able to
mm.
absorb that. So beautiful. So why do you think we as women like outsource our power?
I feel because we were conditioned so at a very young age. We were taught, or I was taught to stay quiet. Um, and sometimes, kids are brutally honest. They say what they feel, and we get shut down when we're children and we get taught you can't say that. And then, we get taught to play small, like because we will lose friends if we are too big or if we follow our passion. And so we learn people pleasing that way. And we mold to the rooms. From childhood, we are molded into this human being. We are conditioned with these beliefs that come from external influences, not internal. It's not how we came into this world, it was how we were taught by external influences. And so we carry that on. And so when we become women in leadership as well and adult women, we have to start really thinking on what do I believe in? And letting go of those. Is this true? I know I had to do it. I had to reflect back on many conversations I've had with relatives, family, and friends and question it. I thought it was right back then. I was conditioned
Mm.
that way and I was conditioned to believe, oh, I couldn't be successful. I couldn't be on stage. I couldn't do this because those people were special, that they had something that
Mm.
I didn't have, and you carry this belief on until you're aware that it was not real. It was an illusion. It was
Mm.
based on someone else's beliefs.
It's insane how much we take as we grow and how much we even retain, and those become beliefs. And then questioning the beliefs and coming along the other way. Oh my goodness, it's like a whole new world and a whole new ball game. And I think as parents, the unlearning becomes kind of easy because they question things as well.
Yes. And it's very surreal as a parent to watch your children kind of learn and grow from this lens. When you've unlearned the things that you were taught and you're watching your kids, you kind of you speak in a different way, and you're more aware of it, which is why it's so important that we do this work, right?
Absolutely, 100%. So, because we're talking about beliefs and the roles that we're playing, what role does tall poppy syndrome play in holding women back? Because I know that's very prominent here in Australia.
Tall poppy syndrome is massive here in Australia. I know I watch my coaches and other speakers, and we talk about it when we get together. When they go overseas into the US, everyone's cheering each other on. It's not like here. I remember I was sitting on a bench with a woman. We were away, and she asked me what I did. I said, I own a hair salon and I'm a coach and a transformational speaker. She stopped talking to me. She changed the subject. And I thought, wow, this is very interesting. So it's very much a thing here where maybe people are not living their true authentic self. They're not living in their purpose and what they want to do. So they just want to pull everyone down. They want to pull you down. And instead of, because coming up to where you are is such a challenge to them, it makes them face reality and question themselves. And it's uncomfortable, very uncomfortable for them. So I think it's just easier for them to either,
Mm.
ignore you or tear you down, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, that's so insane. It reminds me of the frog. You know how you put in all the frogs and then get them to jump out, and then everyone's pulling their legs because they don't want to let go. It's just insane, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
insane. But yeah, I
yeah.
think it's again having changing
Mm,
those beliefs by asking, do you think that's true?
mm, yeah, yeah. Well, now because I'm aware of it, growing up when this used to happen to me, it makes you want to play small. It makes you want to kind of just like, oh, they don't like me. They
Blend
don't,
in.
oh, I'm not good enough, that it dims your light.
Mm.
But now because I'm so aware of it, I know that they're not bad people. They're just not where you're at. And that's
Mm.
okay.
Mm.
One day they might have these massive breakdowns where all they can do is break through and they will understand.
Mm.
Mm.
I love that. Break down to break through.
Yeah.
What does self-led leadership actually mean, Maya?
I believe it means creating a life based on your terms and your beliefs and how you want to live it. Living your life with all your cups full.
Wow, living your lives with all your cups full.
Mm.
Okay, my cup better be full. I'm gonna see to it that it's fuller than it is right now. It is beautiful. Very, very well said, Maya. I love that. So, Maya, in one sentence,
Mm.
who are you becoming right now?
I'm becoming the voice of identity sovereignty.
And what belief are you choosing to live by in this season?
I believe that we are all free to be who we want to be, and that the universe, the external, will only meet us where we are at internally. So we can have whatever we want as long as we internally believe it. So then our external can meet us there.
Belief. Love it. If a woman watching this
Hmm.
feels stuck, what would you tell her?
Book a one-on-one laser coaching session with me. No, I feel we all go through roller coaster rides, ups and downs, and that's a normal part of life. Sometimes we isolate ourselves thinking, we compare ourselves to other people based on what we see, and we think life is always perfect for them. Why isn't it for me? And the rough ride, the roller coaster is just life. And having certainty in the uncertainty is really powerful. And having that belief that everything is going to be okay, even if you are in the messy middle at the moment and inside the transformation and the change, everything is going to be okay as long as you have certainty in the uncertainty.
Everything's gonna be okay.
Mhm.
Yes, when we talk about being certain, especially when shit's hitting the roof,
Mm.
that's that groundedness, that energy that we have to bring. It's quite the opposite, and I think that's so needed, so important. Thank you. And where can people continue on this conversation with you, Maya? Because you did mention that this is what you do and how you help and assist
Mm, mm.
people to get to where you are in life and really bringing that self-awareness. How can they have that and continue on with those conversations with you, Maya?
Whenever we're trying to up level and trying to get to our next goal, every time we set the bar, the reason we can't achieve what we're trying to achieve is because there are sometimes hidden blocks, they're underlying that we're unaware of. So I do one-on-one laser coaching sessions where we go deep really quick. And what comes up in the sessions are these blocks that are blocking you from reaching your next level. They go for 60 minutes, but I do a 15-minute clarity call first prior to the one-on-one laser coaching session. And that is to really get clear on my clients' intentions, their goals, their values. They end up leaving feeling clearer on their goals, feeling lighter, and a sense of belief, like everything is going to be okay.
Love that. Okay. So if this conversation resonated, share it with someone building more. And remember that growth begins with identity. And Maya's put it so beautifully. There's so many golden nuggets from this. To allow good things to happen, you have to leave space. And if you do not trust yourself, you cannot trust others. And entrepreneurship is definitely a journey to self-discovery. So surround yourself with those amazing, beautiful humans. I am here today surrounded by Audrey Fernandez and by Maya Khoweiss, who's done brilliant things by up-leveling, by finding someone who's gotten there, putting clarity to action, building momentum, going forward, seeing the results. And I think something that we want for all of you watching here is breakdown, and then you're going to have your breakthrough. So live your life with all of your cups full, and let's build more action together. So, Maya, we want all of these amazing beliefs and continue your journey on with all that amazingness. So if you're watching this and something stirred in you, ask yourself the same question. Who are you becoming? Because growth doesn't begin with strategy, it begins with identity. Thank you so much once again,
Thank
Maya.
you, Maya.
You're
Really
welcome. Thank
having you
you.
here. This is
Bye.
Life in Biz Unfiltered.